In the vast northern reaches of Europe, there lives a people whose story is woven into the very fabric of the land. They are the Sámi, the continent's only officially recognized indigenous group. Their home is not defined by modern national borders, but by a cultural and ancestral territory known as Sapmi, spanning the northern parts of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the Kola Peninsula in Russia. The Sámi are a people of the Arctic. Their lives are shaped by the stark beauty and demanding rhythms of the tundra, the forests, the fjords. Their identity is a testament to resilience, a vibrant culture that has endured for thousands of years. To understand the Sámi is to understand a different perspective on Europe itself. For centuries they have been part of the European story, yet often at the periphery. They are not relics of a distant past, but a living, breathing community. Deep connection to nature, unique traditions, an unyielding spirit. Sámi Parliament, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Recognizing them as indigenous is a crucial step. It acknowledges their unique history, their distinct cultural heritage. It acknowledges their inherent rights to land, language, and way of life. This exploration will delve into the heart of the Sámi experience. We will journey through Sapmi, uncover layers of their long history. We will listen to endangered languages, witness traditional clothing and crafts. Finally, we will see modern Sámi reclaiming heritage with pride and determination. Their fight for cultural survival and recognition is a vital chapter in indigenous rights worldwide. A story Europe must listen to and learn from. The Sámi do not see their home as being in Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Russia. Instead, they belong to Sapmi, a territory that predates modern nation-states. Sapmi is the heartland of the Sámi people, a vast expanse covering the northernmost parts of Fennoscandia. It sweeps from the central regions of Norway and Sweden, across the northern arm of Finland, and over the Kola Peninsula in Russia. This is not a political state with defined borders, but a cultural nation united by language, heritage, and shared history. The land itself is diverse: dramatic coastlines, deep fjords, sprawling forests, vast mountain plateaus, and windswept tundra. It is a land of dramatic seasonal shifts, the endless light of the midnight sun in summer to the deep, polar nights of winter. This land is more than just a place to live. It is the foundation of Sámi identity and spirituality. Every mountain, lake, and river has a name and a story. These places connect the present generation to their ancestors. The Sámi worldview is animistic, meaning nature is imbued with spirit and life. Therefore, the relationship with the land is one of respect and reciprocity, not of ownership and exploitation. Traditional Sámi livelihoods, reindeer herding, fishing, and hunting, depend entirely on a healthy and accessible environment. The seasonal cycles dictate the rhythm of life, particularly for reindeer herders who follow their herds on ancient migration routes across this borderless territory. The creation of national borders in the 18th and 19th centuries was a catastrophe for the Sámi people. These artificial lines cut through Sapmi, dividing families and disrupting traditional reindeer migration paths. Suddenly, herders who had roamed freely for generations were restricted by the laws of different countries. These borders fragmented the Sámi community and made it more difficult to maintain their traditional way of life. This division remains a significant challenge as they strengthen cross-border cooperation and cultural unity. Despite divisions, Sapmi remains a powerful symbol of unity. The Sámi flag, red, green, yellow, and blue, represents all Sámi people across the 4 countries. Today, Sámi institutions and parliaments work together across national borders to promote their shared culture, language, and political rights. They strive to have Sápmi recognized not just as a historical memory, but as a living, unified cultural region where the Sámi people can determine their own future and protect their ancestral lands for generations to come. The Sámi people have a really old history, going back thousands of years to the misty lands of northern Europe. We know this because of old things found in the ground, like hunting pits and places where they lived. These tell us their ancestors lived along the coast and in the inner parts of northern Fennoscandia, right after the last ice age ended. The first written records we have are from way back in 98 AD, when a Roman historian named Tacitus wrote about a people called the Feni. For thousands of years they were amazing hunters, fishers, and trappers, figuring out clever ways to live in the tough Arctic environment. Their society was set up in family groups called Sidat. These groups managed specific areas and resources together, making sure everyone in the community could use the land and its gifts without running out. This traditional way of life started to change a lot when Nordic settlers arrived and countries started to form. Beginning in the Middle Ages, kingdoms in Norway, Sweden and Russia began to claim Sami lands and make the people pay taxes. The Sami were slowly pushed out of the better, more southern parts of their land into the far north. Their traditional hunting grounds were taken over for farming and cutting down trees, and their spiritual practices were seen as bad. This pressure from outside forced a big change in Sami society. Many started to focus more on domesticated reindeer. The 1600s and 1700s were a particularly dark time for Sami history because Christian missionaries started working even harder to convert them. The countries of Norway, Denmark and Sweden, Finland thought the Sami's traditional shamanistic beliefs were pagan and needed to be stopped. Holy Sami places were ruined, and their ceremonial drums, which were very important to their spiritual practices, were taken and burned. Sami spiritual leaders called Noidi were treated badly and sometimes even killed. This religious oppression was a clear attempt to break the Sami's spiritual connection to their land and their ancestors. Even with hundreds of years of pressure, colonization and attempts to make them disappear, the Sami people have shown amazing strength. They held on to their language, their knowledge of the land, and their culture even when things were incredibly hard. The stories, the joiks, and the knowledge of reindeer herding were passed down from one generation to the next, often in secret. This deep-rooted history of never giving up is the base for today's Sami activism and efforts to bring their culture back to life, showing a spirit that couldn't be broken. The Sami languages are super important to who the Sami people are. They're a special group of languages in Europe, kind of like a family. They're related to Finnish and Hungarian, but they're totally different from languages like Norwegian and Swedish. There isn't just one Sami language, but about 10 different ones. Some are as different from each other as Spanish is from Italian. These languages are usually split into a Western group and Eastern group. The one most people speak is North Sami, along with Lul Sami and South Sami. These languages are super rich with lots of words that show how connected they are to the Arctic world, especially when it comes to snow, ice and reindeer. It's sad, but these languages are in big trouble. For many years, people tried to make the Sami people act like everyone else, and that really hurt the Sami languages. Norway, Sweden and Finland, especially from the late 1800s to the mid-1900s, Sami kids were sent to schools where they weren't allowed to speak their own language and often got punished if they did. This made many Sami feel ashamed and hurt. So, a lot of parents stopped speaking Sami to their kids, thinking it would help them have a better life. Because of this, many families stopped passing on their language. Today all Sami languages are listed by UNESCO as being in danger, and some are almost gone or completely gone. Pide Sami and Uma Sami have very few speakers left. When a language is lost, it's not just losing words, it's losing a special way of seeing the world. It means losing cultural knowledge, stories, and traditions. But there's a strong movement to bring the Sami languages back. Sami language centers, schools, and kindergartens where kids can learn their native language. Sami languages are now taught in universities with books, music, and media. The Sami parliaments have made bringing back the language a top priority. Even though there are huge challenges, this new feeling of pride and strong effort from the community gives hope that the voices of Sapmi will keep being heard for many years to come. At the heart of Sami culture is their really deep connection with reindeer. For many Sami people, especially in the northern areas, taking care of reindeer isn't just a job. It's a whole way of life that includes everything they believe, how their society works, and who they are. A reindeer herder's life depends on what the reindeer need in the 8 seasons of the Sami calendar. This way of moving around needs a lot of knowledge about the land, the weather, and how animals act. This wisdom is passed down from parents to children. The reindeer give them everything: meat to eat, skins for clothes and shelter, and antlers for tools and crafts. The seasonal cycles dictate the rhythm of life, particularly for reindeer herders who follow their herds on ancient migration routes. Another important part of Sami identity is the joik. The joik is one of the oldest kinds of music in Europe that's still being used. It's a special way to show culture that is very personal and spiritual. It's not just a song about something or someone, it's trying to catch and show the true spirit of a person, an animal, a place, or a memory. When you joik a person, you're not singing about them, you're bringing their spirit to life with sound. Joiks can be happy, sad, or strong, and they are often made up on the spot. For hundreds of years, Christian leaders tried to stop the joik, but it lived on in people's hearts and is now coming back strong in both old and new ways. The Sami Gakti is much more than just clothes, it's a bright way to show who you are. This traditional outfit is like a visual language. The colors, patterns, and decorations on a Gakti can show where a person is from, if they are married, and even their family history. There are many different Gakti styles across Sapmi, each with its own special features. Traditionally made from reindeer leather and wool, modern gakti often use materials like silk and velvet. They are decorated with beautiful woven bands, silver jewelry, and fancy beadwork. People wear the gakti with great pride during parties, festivals, weddings, and other important times. These three main things, reindeer, joik, and gakti, are all connected, making a complete cultural expression. The materials for the gakti and many tools come from the reindeer. The joik might capture the spirit of a strong reindeer bull or the beauty of the open land. Together they show the rhythm of Sámi life, a life lived very close to nature and community. These are not old traditions that stay the same, but living arts that keep changing. Modern Sámi artists, musicians, and designers are always finding new ways to use these traditional forms, making sure they stay important and lively for new generations, while still respecting their deep history and culture. Beyond the famous gakti, the Sámi people have a rich way of making things by hand called Duoji. This word covers many items, both pretty and useful. It blurs the line between art and everyday stuff. Duoji ties to Arctic survival. It means making knives, cups, clothes, and containers. All use nearby natural materials. Reindeer products, leather, bone, antlers, birchwood, and thin metal wire. Duoji values usefulness and beauty, respect for materials and users. Skills passed down in families through watching, practicing, and understanding materials. Men worked harder materials, wood and antler, made guksi cups and knife handles. Women worked softer materials, leather and cloth. Beadwork, weaving bands, and sewing clothes. Both types equally important. Every piece tells a story. Carvings on a knife holder and patterns on a belt are meaningful and regional. Materials seen as gifts from nature. Carving a birch cup follows the wood's lines. Nothing wasted, everything purposeful. Duoji shows sustainable living, still central to Sámi culture and income, made for family use and also a way for Sámi artists to earn money. They sell to visitors and collectors. Modern Sámi artists mix old techniques with new art. This keeps Duoji alive, connecting past to future. It is the art made by Sámi hands, connecting the past to the future. The history of the Sámi people is marked by a long and painful struggle against forces that really sought to erase their culture. The policies of forced assimilation represent a dark shadow in this history. Nordic states and Russia from the late 19th century onwards viewed Sámi culture as inferior, primitive, an obstacle to progress and national unity. The primary tool was the education system. Sámi children were forcibly removed from their families and sent to residential boarding schools often far from their homes. In those institutions they were forbidden from speaking their native language and forbidden from practicing their culture. The goal was to strip them of Sámi identity and remold them into the dominant society. This systematic cultural assault had profound and lasting consequences. The loss of language was one of the most devastating impacts, along with ancestral knowledge, stories, and a unique worldview. The shame associated with being Sámi, instilled in generations of schoolchildren, created a deep rift in the community. Many hid their heritage to avoid discrimination and prejudice. Widespread loss of traditional Sámi lands followed. Nation-states claimed Sámi territories for forestry, mining, agriculture, hydroelectric power development, and wind farms. Sámi were displaced without consultation or fair compensation, undermining traditional livelihoods, severing their physical connection to the land and their spiritual connection to the land. Land dispossession remains a major challenge. Sámi collective land use and stewardship clashed with Nordic legal systems based on private ownership. Lacking formal deeds, the state declared these areas state property. This led to legal battles over land rights and water rights, with Sámi fighting to protect remaining pastures and sacred sites from industrial encroachment. The loss of grazing lands for reindeer threatens reindeer herding, which is a cornerstone of Sámi culture and economy. The struggle for land rights is a fight for the survival of their way of life. Psychological and social trauma from assimilation still reverberates today. Legacy of boarding schools, intergenerational trauma, loss of cultural confidence, and health disparities. Acknowledging this dark history is crucial for the Sámi people and for Nordic countries to come to terms with their colonial past. Out of the shadows of assimilation, a powerful movement of Sámi activism and cultural revitalization has emerged. The turning point is often traced back to the late 1970s and the Alta controversy in Norway. The Norwegian government's plan to build a hydroelectric dam on the Alta Kautokeino River sparked massive protests. The dam would have flooded a Sámi village, disrupted reindeer migration routes, and harmed salmon fishing. Sámi activists and environmental allies engaged in non-violent resistance, including a hunger strike outside the Norwegian parliament. Although the dam was eventually built, the Alta controversy brought Sami rights to national and international attention, and galvanized a new generation. One important outcome was the establishment of Sami parliaments, Samadigi, Norway, 1989, Sweden, 1993, Finland, 1996. These elected bodies act as advisory institutions on Sami matters. While limited in power, they provide an official platform to voice concerns, promote culture and language, and advocate for land and self-determination. The resurgence is visible in a cultural renaissance. A new generation of Sami artists, musicians, filmmakers and writers are exploring their heritage. Musicians like Mari Boyne, blending joik and modern styles, have reached global audiences. Sami filmmakers are telling their own stories, challenging stereotypes. This cultural flowering is an act of decolonization, reclaiming the narrative. It has instilled renewed pride among young people who are embracing their heritage with enthusiasm. Today, Sami activism continues on many fronts. Activists lead Arctic environmental movements, fighting climate impacts and industrial threats. They use traditional legal channels and modern tools like social media to mobilize support. The struggle for land and resource rights remains central, alongside language revitalization. The new generation isn't just preserving culture, they're shaping its future, making the Sami voice a powerful force for change. The story of the Sami people is a profound and necessary chapter in the broader narrative of Europe. They are a testament to the fact that indigenous cultures are a living, breathing part of the continent's present, not just its past. Their journey, marked by incredible resilience in the face of centuries of hardship, offers invaluable lessons about cultural survival, the importance of a deep connection to nature, and the unyielding human spirit. To learn about the Sami is to challenge our assumptions about European identity and to recognize the rich diversity that lies within it. Their worldview, sustainability, respect for the environment, community over the individual, offers a crucial perspective in a world facing ecological crises. Protecting and supporting Sami culture is not just a responsibility for the Nordic countries. It is a matter of importance for all of Europe. It means actively supporting their efforts to revitalize their languages, ensuring that these unique voices are not lost forever. It means respecting their right to self-determination and their claims to ancestral lands and waters, which are essential for the continuation of their traditional livelihoods like reindeer herding. This requires more than just apologies for past injustices. It demands concrete actions and legal frameworks that guarantee the rights of the Sami as an indigenous people. It means ensuring they have a real say in the decisions that affect their lands and their future. The Sami struggle for recognition and rights is a mirror that reflects the values of modern European societies. How a continent treats its only recognized indigenous minority speaks volumes about its commitment to human rights, cultural diversity, and historical justice. The ongoing challenges faced by the Sami are a reminder that the work of decolonization is far from over, even within Europe. Their story compels us to look critically at our own histories and to question the narratives of progress. Ultimately, the Sami story is one of hope. It is the story of a people who, against all odds, have held onto their identity and are now reclaiming their heritage with pride and determination. Their vibrant culture, the spiritual depth of the Juak, the intricate beauty of Duoji, enriches the cultural tapestry of Europe and the world. By listening to their voices, respecting their rights, and celebrating their culture, we not only help to secure the future of the Sami people, but also embrace a more inclusive, diverse, and honest vision of what it means to be European. The Sami are not a hidden people. They are a European treasure that must be protected, honored, and supported.